family, acceptance, belonging. These are not just words we toss around lightly. They are pillars of human existence. Every one of us is wired by God with the deep desire to belong somewhere, to be seen, to be valued, and to be embraced, not only by the person we love, but also by the people who raised them, the family that shaped them. And here's the truth I want you to hear right now. When their family welcomes you like their own, you've already won something greater than gold. It's not just about dating, not just about romance. It's about alignment, wholeness, and legacy. Type legacy in the comment, because here's what so many overlook. You can win someone's heart in private, but if you remain a stranger to their family, you are still standing outside of the gates. And when those gates swing open and you're treated as one of them, that is confirmation, that is covering. That is honor, Scripture says in Proverbs 18:22. He who finds a wife finds a good thing and obtains favor from the Lord. But notice something powerful here. God's favor is not just individual. When love is pure, when love is aligned, favor spreads. It touches families, it creates bridges instead of walls. It unites instead of dividing. That's why in today's teaching I want to speak directly to you, whether you're single, dating, or already building something with someone special. I want to show you what it really means when their family embraces you. Not the shallow version, not the Instagram highlight version, but the deep spiritual reality of what it unlocks in your journey of love and personal growth. We're going to go deep. I'm going to give you 7 strategic, real, practical, and spiritual revelations that will reshape the way you see relationships forever. These aren't feel-good tips. They're not cliches. They're truths that cut through confusion and bring clarity, healing, and direction. And let me pause here before we dive in. If this is already speaking to your spirit, I want you to hit that subscribe button right now. Because this channel isn't just about content, it's about transformation. Week after week, we build wisdom, we heal from within, and we rise together. And I promise you, by the end of this message, you will not only see relationships differently, you will see yourself differently. So let's begin. Number 1, acceptance is not just social, it's spiritual. When their family welcomes you like their own, it is not just about people being polite. It is not just a matter of smiles at the dinner table or warm greetings at the door. It is a spiritual reality. Acceptance at that level means there is alignment. Happening in the unseen, Scripture tells us in Amos 3:3, can 2 walk together except they be agreed? Agreement is not only between you and the one you love. Agreement extends outward, into the circles of influence, into the home, into the roots that shape the person you are connected to. Why does this matter so much? Because families carry patterns, families carry histories, families carry both blessing and brokenness. When a family welcomes you, they are not just welcoming you as an individual. They are opening the door for you to walk into their story. And when you walk into someone's story, you are stepping into their lineage, their background, their legacy. This is why discernment is so important. Some of you listening right now, you've been fighting for someone's attention, but their family resists you. It feels like rejection, but in reality, it may be God's protection. Not every family you want to join is the family God has ordained for you to join. Acceptance is not always automatic, and that's not always a bad thing. But when acceptance does happen, when their mother treats you like her child, when their father prays over you, when siblings laugh with you as though you've always been there, something is being confirmed. It's a sign that there is harmony instead of resistance, that there is flow instead of friction. This is spiritual. I want you to understand something. When you marry or unite with someone, you are not only connecting with them, you are connecting with the foundation that raised them. You are connecting with the values that shaped them. If there is dysfunction, you will see it. If there is blessing, you will feel it. And when acceptance happens, it means that foundation recognizes you as a safe addition, not a threat. Too many people make the mistake of thinking love is only about two people in isolation. They say things like, "It's me and you against the world." That sounds romantic, but it is not sustainable. Isolation is not God's design. God works in covenant, and covenant always extends beyond just two individuals. It touches families, communities, even nations. Look at Ruth in the Bible. When she connected with Naomi, she didn't just say, "I love your son." She said, "Your people will be my people, your God my God." That is acceptance. That is the kind of alignment I'm talking about. It's not shallow. It's covenantal. Now let's get real practical here. When a family welcomes you, you experience peace. You no longer have to over-explain yourself. You no longer feel like you are auditioning for a role. There is a naturalness. There is an ease. Because true acceptance doesn't require performance. It only requires presence. This is why so many women, especially, end up feeling drained in relationships where they are never truly accepted by the family. You can cook, you can serve, you can smile, you can bend yourself into shapes you were never meant to take and still feel like an outsider. That is not God's design. That is not true acceptance. So hear me clearly. When their family welcomes you like their own, it is a sign of God's favor. It doesn't mean everything will be perfect. It doesn't mean there won't be disagreements or differences. But it does mean that the foundation has been laid for unity instead of division. Think about Jesus himself. Even he emphasized the importance of family alignment. In Matthew 12:25, he said, "Every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation. And every city or house divided against itself shall not stand." Do you see it? Division destroys, but unity builds. And when a family opens its arms to you, unity is at work. So here's what I want you to take from this first revelation. Acceptance is not just social, it's spiritual. It's not just about whether or not you get invited to family events. It's about whether or not there is a divine yes in the atmosphere. When that happens, don't take it lightly. Celebrate it. Honor it. Nurture it. Type acceptance in the comment because you are being grafted into something bigger than yourself. And for those of you who have not experienced this yet, don't settle. Don't convince yourself that being tolerated is the same as being accepted. Don't shrink yourself down just to squeeze into a place that does not honor you. Wait for the acceptance that is more than smiles, it's spirit to spirit, because when you are welcomed like their own, you have truly won. Number 2, honor flows both ways. When their family welcomes you like their own, it's not just about you being loved. It's also about how you respond to that love. Because true acceptance is not one-sided, honor must flow both ways. Ephesians 6:2 says, "Honor your father and mother." And that doesn't just apply to your biological parents. When you step into someone's family, when they open the door and treat you like one of their own, honor becomes the currency of that relationship. Let's get real here. Too many relationships fall apart, not because love was missing, but because honor was missing. You can have passion, you can have chemistry, but if there's no honor, it will collapse under the weight of pride and selfishness. So when you are welcomed into their family, the question becomes, will you honor that family? Will you show respect to the people who raised the person you now cherish? Will you recognize the sacrifices they made, the values they built, the history they carry? It's easy to receive love. It's harder to reflect it back with humility. But that's where the strength of a relationship is tested. Think about it when you walk into a house where the parents make room for you, when siblings let you in on their inside jokes, when elders pray over you as if you've always been there. How do you carry yourself? Do you act entitled, like you deserve it? Or do you walk in gratitude, understanding that honor is what keeps doors open? Honor doesn't mean you agree with everything. Let's be honest, no family is perfect. There will be quirks, traditions, even conflicts that don't make sense to you. But honor means you choose to treat people with dignity even when you don't. Understand them. Honor means you don't speak against them behind closed doors. Honor means you protect the bond instead of poking holes in it. And let's flip this around for a moment. Some of you watching right now, you've been brought into a family, but you've also experienced dishonor. Maybe you've been welcomed at first, but then tested. Maybe you've felt the sting of being compared to others. Maybe you've carried wounds from in-laws or extended relatives who didn't see your worth. Listen carefully. Honor is not a license for abuse. You don't have to shrink yourself down to earn a place at the table. You honor people without worshipping them. You respect boundaries without losing yourself. That balance is what gives you peace. Proverbs 3:35 says, "The wise shall inherit glory, but shame shall be the promotion of fools." Wisdom teaches us that honor always leads to glory. It doesn't always mean applause. It doesn't always mean being liked, but it does mean walking in a way that heaven recognizes. And when heaven recognizes honor, blessings follow. Now here's the practical side. When you are accepted into their family, study them. Not in a suspicious way, but in a curious way. Learn what matters to them. Notice how they celebrate. Notice how they grieve. Notice how they handle money, faith, traditions. This is not about imitation. This is about understanding. Because when you understand people, it becomes easier to show honor. And let's be real, honor will sometimes be tested most in moments of conflict. Maybe you disagree with their opinion about your relationship. Maybe you feel pressure from cultural differences, generational gaps, or personal expectations. In those moments, honor is not silence, it's wisdom. It's choosing words that heal instead of words that wound. It's standing firm in truth while refusing to let pride take the microphone. This is what separates immature love from mature love. Immature love says, "I'll only give respect if I receive it first." Mature love says, "I choose to honor because that's who I am, not because of what they do." That's exactly how Jesus lived. He washed the feet of his disciples, including Judas, the one who would betray him. Why? Because honor was in his nature, it wasn't conditional. And if Christ could show that kind of honor in the face of betrayal, surely we can walk in honor when we are welcomed into families who choose to embrace us. So let me give you this challenge. If their family welcomes you like their own, don't just receive it passively. Don't just enjoy the benefits. Take responsibility. Ask yourself, how can I be a blessing to them? How can I add value to the home I'm now part of? How can I make sure that my presence builds peace instead of tension? Honor is not about grand gestures. It's in the little things. It's in remembering birthdays, checking in during hard times, lending a hand without being asked, speaking words of encouragement. Those are the deposits that strengthen trust over time. When honor flows both ways, love becomes unshakable. Type unshakable love in the comment right now, because now it's not just two people standing together, it's a covenant shielded by mutual respect. That's why acceptance from a family is such a gift, and why your response matters so much. So hear me clearly. When you're welcomed like their own, don't just say, "I've won." Say, "I've been entrusted," because that's what it really is, entrustment. And how you steward that entrustment will determine whether the acceptance grows into generational blessing or shrinks into regret. Number 3, belonging heals old wounds. When their family welcomes you like their own, something happens inside you that goes deeper than words. Belonging heals. Acceptance at that level touches wounds you might not even know you were carrying. Some of you grew up in homes where love was conditional. Maybe affection only came when you achieved. Maybe approval only showed up when you performed. Or maybe love never came at all. And you carried the silent ache of neglect. And then one day, you walk into someone else's family, and they embrace you without hesitation. They don't need you to perform. They don't need you to prove yourself. They just see you, and they say, "You belong here." That kind of love reaches into the cracks of your heart and begins to repair what was broken. Psalm 68:6 says, God sets the lonely in families. That's not just a poetic verse, it's a divine principle. God knows that isolation starves the soul, but belonging restores it. When their family welcomes you, God is showing you a glimpse of his own heart because his kingdom is family. He takes those who are outsiders, strangers, rejected, and he grafts them in. The gospel itself is a story of belonging. Now let's be real, healing doesn't happen all at once. Some of you listening have been carrying rejection for years. It shows up in how you second-guess yourself. It shows up in how you brace for abandonment. It shows up in how you struggle to believe you're truly worthy of love. But when a family opens the door and treats you like their own, you begin to see yourself differently. You start realizing, maybe I am lovable. Maybe I am worth staying for. Maybe I don't have to keep fighting to prove I belong. This is why acceptance is so powerful. It's not just social validation, it's inner restoration. Now, I want to be very clear here. You cannot outsource your healing entirely to another family. Your deepest healing still comes from God, through his Spirit and his Word. But God often uses people as instruments of healing. And when a family embraces you, they become carriers of God's love into your wounds. They model what it feels like to be safe, and safety is where healing accelerates. Think about Joseph in the Bible. He was betrayed by his brothers, abandoned, sold into slavery. Rejection marked his early years. But when God raised him up in Egypt, Joseph experienced honor and belonging again, not from the people who hurt him, but through the new position and relationships God gave him. Sometimes the healing doesn't come from the people who broke you. Sometimes God brings healing through a new circle, a new family, a new embrace. Now let's get practical. If you are welcomed into a family that truly accepts you, don't just enjoy the comfort, notice what it's doing inside you. Pay attention to the lies being dismantled. Maybe you've always believed I'm too much or I'm not enough. But now you see people smiling when you walk in the room, happy just to have you there. That destroys the lie of being too much. That tears down the lie of being unworthy. For women especially, this kind of acceptance hits deep because many women carry wounds of comparison, rejection, or criticism from their upbringing. To be embraced by a new family speaks directly to the feminine heart. You are seen, you are safe, you are celebrated, and for men, it affirms identity. You are trusted, you are valued, you are respected. Acceptance restores what rejection tried to erase. But let me caution you here. Healing through belonging is powerful, but it can also be dangerous if you confuse acceptance with identity. Your identity must still be rooted in Christ, not in how others treat you, because families are human. They may welcome you today and struggle tomorrow. They may accept you in one season and wrestle in another. So while their embrace can be healing, your ultimate anchor must remain in God's embrace. Isaiah 43:1 says, "Fear not, for I have redeemed you. I have called you by name. You are mine." That is your ultimate belonging. That is your unshakable family. Earthly families will always be imperfect, but God's family is eternal. So when a family welcomes you like their own, rejoice, receive the healing. But don't confuse the gift with the giver. The gift points you back to Him. Now here's the strategy. Lean into the healing. Don't resist it by saying, "I don't deserve this." Don't sabotage it with suspicion, waiting for the rejection shoe to drop. Open yourself. Allow their acceptance to teach your heart a new rhythm. Let it rewire how you see yourself. Type, "I belong here," in the comment. Because if you don't, allow belonging to heal you, you may sabotage the very relationship God is blessing you with. I've seen people push away good families because they couldn't believe it was real. They thought acceptance was a trap. They thought kindness was fake, but that was rejection speaking, not reality. Don't let old wounds rob you of new healing. Belonging is medicine. Take it. So let me say it plain. When their family welcomes you like their own, you've won more than approval. You've won healing, and healed people love differently. Healed people stop clinging in desperation. Healed people stop fearing abandonment. Healed people show up in wholeness. And wholeness is what sustains love long-term. Number 4. Alignment protects the future. When their family welcomes you like their own, it is not just about the present moment. It is not just about how you feel today. It is about protection for tomorrow. Alignment with family is a safeguard for the future. Proverbs 11:14 says, "Where there is no guidance, a people falls, but in an abundance of counselors there is safety." Families, when healthy, become those counselors. They become a covering. They become a layer of wisdom, accountability, and support that protects a relationship from unnecessary destruction. Let's be clear, every relationship will face storms. You will face financial pressures. You will face health challenges. You will face seasons where emotions run thin. And in those moments, family alignment is a fortress. Because when their family has welcomed you, you are not standing alone. You are standing with a larger support system that fights for your covenant instead of against it. But here's the other side. When there is no alignment, when there is hidden resentment or open hostility from family, the smallest problem in your relationship can become a battlefield. A disagreement between two people can quickly turn into a war with multiple voices involved. Instead of protection, you face division. Instead of support, you face sabotage. This is why alignment matters so deeply. It is not just sentimental, it is strategic. It protects the relationship from being crushed under unnecessary weight. Look at the story of Isaac and Rebekah in Genesis 24. Abraham didn't just send his servant to find a wife randomly. He made sure she came from a family that carried covenant values. Why? Because he knew alignment was necessary for the promise to continue. God had spoken about generations, about descendants, about nations, and family alignment was part of that plan. Too often today, people think alignment doesn't matter, they say. It's our relationship, not theirs. But that's short-sighted, because families influence. They shape traditions, they shape children, they shape legacies. If you ignore alignment, you risk planting seeds of conflict into your future. Think about raising children. If their family has accepted you fully, your children will inherit that. Peace, they will grow up surrounded by love, not tension. They won't feel torn between two worlds. They will see unity modeled, and that unity will become their foundation. But if you ignore misalignment, your children may grow up watching you fight invisible battles with in-laws, watching you defend your place again and again, watching you shrink in environments that should be safe. That is not protection, that is exhaustion. So hear me clearly. When their family welcomes you like their own, it is not just about love, it is about building a shield around your future. Now, let's get practical. Future protection doesn't mean perfection. Even aligned families will have disagreements, cultural differences, or misunderstandings. But alignment means there is a shared commitment to peace. It means even in disagreement there is respect. It means even when mistakes are made, reconciliation is the goal. And let's talk about accountability. Alignment provides accountability that isolation cannot. When a family has embraced you, they are more likely to speak wisdom into your relationship. Not from a place of judgment, but from a place of care. Because they see themselves as part of your story, they feel responsible to guide you. That guidance, when rooted in love and God's truth, is a shield against disaster. Now, some of you may say, but what if I don't have that kind of family support? Then you must build alignment in community. Sometimes God provides family, not through blood, but through spiritual family, mentors, and friends who carry covenant values. But the principle remains the same. Alignment protects the future. For those who do have the gift of being fully welcomed into their partner's family, don't take it lightly. Honor it, lean into it. Because that acceptance today is what keeps tomorrow from falling apart. Jesus himself emphasized the power of agreement in Matthew 18:19. If two of you agree on earth about anything they ask, it will be done for them by my Father in heaven. Agreement multiplies power. And when families are in agreement with your union, you have multiplied strength. That strength is what carries you when personal strength runs low. So the takeaway here is simple but profound. Family alignment is not a bonus, it's a shield. It is not just about feeling good at gatherings. It is about being protected in seasons of trial. And if you've been welcomed like their own, you've been given more than a seat at the table. You've been given a fortress for your future. Number 5, love that extends beyond two people. When their family welcomes you like their own, love stops being small. It stops being a private feeling between two people and starts becoming something bigger, something generational, something communal, something that reflects God's own design. John 4:12 says, "No one has ever seen God, but if we love one another, God lives in us, and his love is made complete in us." Notice the language, complete. Love is incomplete when it stays hidden between two people. It becomes complete when it flows outward, touching others, building connections, creating harmony. That's why being accepted into their family matters, because it takes what was private and makes it visible. It transforms your relationship from just us into us within something greater. Think about it. Two people can say they love each other, but if that love is constantly clashing with family, constantly hidden, constantly isolated, it stays under pressure. It struggles to breathe. But when their family embraces you, that love is allowed to expand. It grows roots. It finds new expressions. It touches uncles, aunts, cousins, parents, siblings. It starts radiating outward. This is how love was meant to function. It was never meant to be selfish, closed off, or territorial. It was meant to multiply. The same way God's love multiplies through his children, your love multiplies when it's embraced by a larger family. Look at the early church in Acts 2. They didn't just love in isolation. They broke bread in their homes and ate together with glad and sincere hearts, praising God and enjoying the favor of all the people. Their love overflowed. It touched communities. It built households of faith. When love is real, it always overflows. Now let's get practical. What does it mean when love extends beyond two people? It means the person you're with doesn't just care for you in private, but is willing to bring you into their world. It means they aren't ashamed to say, "This is who I love, and I want you to know them." It means their family doesn't just tolerate your presence, but celebrates it, and that celebration strengthens your bond. Because here's the truth. No matter how strong your personal connection feels, isolation will eventually strain it. You need community. You need shared life. You need the joy of holidays together, the support in tough seasons, the laughter of family gatherings. That's what keeps love from becoming fragile. For many women especially, this kind of love is healing, because it affirms that you are not just loved privately, you are honored publicly. It says, you are not a secret, you are family. And for men, it speaks identity too. It says, you are not just loved by her, you are trusted and respected by the people who raised her. That kind of affirmation builds confidence. But let me give you a warning here. Love that extends beyond two people also brings responsibility. When you are embraced by their family, you are now accountable, not just to your partner, but to everyone who loves them. If you break trust, you don't just wound one person, you wound a whole family. That's why Scripture emphasizes covenant. Marriage, commitment, covenant, it's not just about you, it's about everyone who is tied to you, and this is where many relationships fail. People think love is just about feelings, but real love requires stewardship. And when their family welcomes you, stewardship becomes even more serious. You are now carrying their trust, you are carrying their prayers, you are carrying their hope, and how you handle that will echo far beyond the two of you. Here's the beauty, though. When you honor that trust, when you nurture the love you've been given, you become a testimony. You show people what healthy love looks like. You inspire siblings, cousins, even the younger generation watching you. You become proof That love doesn't have to be broken, shallow, or short-lived. It can be enduring, expansive, and life-giving. Think about Abraham. His covenant with God wasn't just about him. It was about descendants, nations, generations. That's how God thinks about love, bigger than the moment, bigger than two people. So when you are welcomed into a family, you are stepping into something that echoes. Your love story is no longer just yours. It becomes a living message of God's design. So here's what I want you to take from this. If you are embraced by their family, don't keep thinking small. Don't reduce it to me and them. Recognize that God has expanded the circle of your love. He has given you more people to impact, more lives to bless, more relationships to nurture. That's why when their family welcomes you like their own, you've won something greater than romance. You've won the opportunity to let love grow beyond your private world and into the legacy you will leave behind. Number 6. Peace is the proof of God's hand. When their family welcomes you like their own, one of the clearest signs you will notice is peace. Not forced peace, not silence that hides tension, but genuine peace, the kind you can feel when you walk into a room and your soul exhales. Colossians 3:15 says, "Let the peace of Christ rule in your hearts, since as members of one body you were called to peace." That word rule means govern. It means peace is not just an emotion, it is a decision maker, it is a compass. And when you are embraced by their family, peace will be the evidence that God's hand is at work. Because here's the truth. People can fake smiles, they can fake politeness, but they cannot fake peace. Peace is spiritual. Peace comes from alignment, from unity, from hearts that are truly open to one another. If you walk into their family and constantly feel on edge, walking on eggshells, bracing for rejection, that is not peace, that is a warning. But if you walk in and feel safe, valued, welcomed, that peace is confirmation. Now I need to make something very clear here. Peace does not mean perfection. You will not agree on everything. You will not always see eye to eye with every member of their family. But peace means there is room for differences without hostility. Peace means love is greater than disagreements. Peace means unity is chosen even when perspectives vary. Think about Jesus calming the storm in Mark 4. The disciples were panicking, but Jesus stood and said, "Peace, be still." And the winds obeyed. Type "Jesus love me" in the comment. That is what real peace looks like. It has authority. When God's hand is on a union, peace has authority in the family. It silences unnecessary storms. It calms what could have spiraled out of control. It protects love from chaos. Now let's get practical. How do you know peace is present when a family welcomes you? You'll notice ease. You won't feel the constant need to prove yourself. You won't be replaying every conversation in your head, wondering if you said the wrong thing. You'll notice that mistakes don't destroy relationships. If you misstep, there's grace. If there's a misunderstanding, there's reconciliation. Peace creates space for humanity, and peace is powerful because it makes love sustainable. Love without peace burns out. At first, passion can hide the lack of peace, but over time, constant tension will erode even the strongest feelings. That's why peace is so critical. It sustains what passion alone cannot. For many women, peace in a partner's family is the difference between feeling safe in love and feeling constantly exhausted by it. For many men, peace in her family affirms stability. It removes the pressure of divided loyalties. Peace is not glamorous, but it is priceless. It is the quiet strength that keeps a relationship from collapsing. Now here's the danger. Some of you have confused false peace with real peace. False peace is when everyone avoids the real issues just to keep things looking good. It's when no one speaks up, but underneath the surface, bitterness is growing. That's not peace, that's pretense. True peace doesn't fear conflict. True peace knows how to face conflict and resolve it in love. Romans 14:19 says, "Let us therefore make every effort to do what leads to peace and to mutual edification." Did you catch that? Peace takes effort. It doesn't just appear. It's built, nurtured, chosen. So when their family welcomes you and peace is truly present, it means effort has already been made. Type a word, peace, in the comment. It means they've decided you are worth the work. They've decided unity is better than resistance. That decision is evidence of God's hand. Now, let me give you wisdom here. If you are welcomed by their family and you feel peace, protect it. Don't take it for granted. Don't stir unnecessary drama. Don't let pride or insecurity poison it. Protect peace by choosing humility, by extending grace, by addressing issues with love instead of gossip, because peace is fragile when neglected, but powerful when protected. And if you don't feel peace, don't ignore it. Sometimes God allows the absence of peace to warn you. If every encounter feels heavy, if every visit drains your spirit, pay attention. That lack of peace may be God showing you misalignment, and misalignment now becomes conflict later. Don't dismiss what your spirit is trying to tell you. Here's the beauty, though, when peace is real. It testifies that love is bigger than bloodlines. It testifies that God has written this story. It testifies that you don't have to force your way in because peace has already made room for you. So hear me clearly. When their family welcomes you like their own, peace will be the proof, not the smiles, not the words. Peace, because peace is God's fingerprint, and when you see it, you can rest. You can know that this is not just acceptance from people, it is confirmation from heaven. Number 7. Covenant extends legacy. When their family welcomes you like their own, it's not just about today's joy, it's about tomorrow's legacy. Because acceptance at that level doesn't stop with you, it creates a foundation for generations to come. Proverbs 13:22 says, "A good person leaves an inheritance for their children's children." That inheritance is not only financial, it's spiritual, it's relational. It's the legacy of belonging, the legacy of unity, the legacy of covenant. Here's what you need to see. When you are embraced by their family, you are stepping into a larger story. Your union is no longer just a moment in time. It's part of a lineage. And when that lineage is healthy, it pours blessing into your future children, into their children, into everyone who comes after. Think about it. When you build a home without family acceptance, you start on shaky ground. Your children may feel the tension. Holidays become battles. Family gatherings are avoided instead of enjoyed. That tension doesn't just affect you, it shapes the next generation. But when their family welcomes you, your children inherit peace. They inherit grandparents who celebrate them. They inherit aunts and uncles who protect them. They inherit cousins who play with them in unity instead of division. That is legacy. And that is priceless. Look at the story of Timothy in the Bible. Paul says in Timothy 1:5, "I am reminded of your sincere faith, which first lived in your grandmother Lois and in your mother Eunice, and I am persuaded now lives in you also." Do you see it? Legacy. Faith passing from grandmother to mother to son. That's what happens when families embrace covenant. It doesn't stop, it flows. And when you are welcomed into that flow, your children benefit from the river of blessing that's already moving. Now let's get practical. Legacy is not built in a moment, it's built daily. It's built when families eat together, pray together, celebrate together. It's built when disagreements are resolved with love instead of bitterness. It's built when children grow up watching unity instead of division. That's why being welcomed is so much more than comfort. It's preparation for the future you will hand off to others. And let's be real. Many of you listening didn't grow up with that kind of legacy. You grew up in dysfunction. You saw divorce, betrayal, addiction, or neglect. You promised yourself you would break the cycle, but here's the good news. When their family welcomes you like their own, God may be giving you the gift of a new starting point, a chance to build a new legacy. a chance to rewrite what family means for you and for the generations after you. This is why you cannot underestimate the weight of acceptance. It's not just about fitting in at Sunday dinners. It's about whether your children will know peace or division. It's about whether the legacy they inherit will be filled with bitterness or blessing. Now let me give you wisdom here. Legacy doesn't mean perfection. Even healthy families have flaws. But legacy means there is a foundation strong enough to withstand those flaws. It means the atmosphere is love, even when mistakes are made. It means forgiveness flows faster than grudges. It means values are passed down intentionally, not left to chance. And when you are welcomed into a family like that, you are being handed more than love. You are being handed a heritage. That heritage becomes the soil where your own family will grow, and the fruit of that soil will last long after you're gone. Psalm 127:3 says, "Children are a heritage from the Lord, offspring a reward from him." When families align, that heritage is strengthened. When families welcome, that heritage becomes rich. When families resist, that heritage becomes fragile. So never treat acceptance lightly. It is covenant, and covenant always speaks to generations. Here's the strategy. Live with legacy in mind. If you've been welcomed, ask yourself, what seeds am I planting today that my children will eat from tomorrow? Am I sowing unity or division? Am I nurturing honor or resentment? Am I building bridges or burning them? Because everything you do within a family creates a ripple effect. And those ripples don't stop with you. When their family welcomes you, take it as a sign that God is entrusting you with more than love. He's entrusting you with legacy. He's giving you the opportunity to pass down something better, something stronger, something more beautiful than what you may have received. So hear me clearly. When their family welcomes you like their own, you haven't just won approval. You've won alignment. You've won healing. You've won peace. And ultimately, you've won legacy. And legacy is the most powerful victory of all because it outlives you. It touches generations you will never see. It carries your love beyond time. You've now seen all 7 truths. Each one is powerful on its own, but together they form something unshakable. Covenant isn't just about love between 2 people. It's about alignment, unity, and legacy. When their family welcomes you, it's more than comfort. It's more than convenience. It's covenant. And covenant doesn't just bless today, it secures tomorrow. It writes a story that outlives you. So here's what I want you to carry with you. Don't treat family acceptance lightly. Don't underestimate the power of unity. Don't forget that what you're building isn't just for you. It's for your children, your children's children, and generations you'll never meet. Love may start with 2 people, but legacy is carried by many. And when you walk in covenant, when you walk in unity, when you walk in acceptance, you are walking in something that has the power to outlive you. That's victory. That's legacy. If this message stirred you, don't just listen and move on. Take action. Start sowing seeds of legacy today. And if you want more teaching that will keep you encouraged, focused, and strong in your relationships, make sure you subscribe to Daily Motivation Prayers. And stay connected, because this isn't the end of the conversation. It's the beginning of a new chapter for you, your family, and the generations to come. Amen.